Alrighty. This is 91.7 The Edge, WSUW Whitewater with the Last Life Gaming Show. We're just going to, again, introduce ourselves from left to right. We have a new person with us today. So I'm going to go ahead. My name is Ben, and I'm your guys' host.
I am Alec.
My name is Sam.
My name is Joe.
And my name is Chase.
All right, so the topic of today's show is... for our sixth show is Call of Duty Zombies. So we just got a couple of prompts here. I just want to go through, just talk about this. This is going to be a good one because it's just an interesting topic, I think.
I was like, there's not many topics on here, but like I feel like they're going to take us a long time to get through because like they're somewhat controversial in the sense of like I feel like all of us are going to be different in some way or form.
I'm sure, yeah, because I mean I have some pretty interesting opinions on some of the maps. I mean, some of them are kind of general, like kind of, oh yeah, that's just kind of like everyone says that, but at the same time, like I have my reasons. So the first question is just like, what is the best game for zombies in your opinion? I mean anybody can just kind of go ahead.
We're going to go left to right probably for this one.
Yeah, for sure. Alec, why don't you start?
I'm gonna say in terms of zombie maps for best game, I'm gonna say Black Ops 3.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you think about like the zombie maps that were released for that game, can you think of any that were actually bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can think of some that were bad.
Not on the top of my worst list, but I can't I don't have like general reasons right off the top of my head why they were bad, but I know there are a couple of them that I wasn't terribly fond of.
In terms of like the worst map, in terms of like all of the Black Ops 3 maps in Zetsubo, just because of just how glitchy it was in the launch, and but
they just kept changing stuff and adding different like new things to it to get rid of all the old like glitchy stuff, and it just was annoying.
Yeah, even still, it's still a solid map.
Yeah, for sure.
Sam, I'm gonna say I could cut in here, but I won't want to skip you.
Well, for my money, probably the greatest Black Ops, the Call of Duty Zombies experience, that's got to go Black Ops on the DS. This is for the hardcore gamer. No casuals allowed on this. I'm talking one hit and you die.
COD 4.
Zombies can break in. You can't stop them. There's no stopping that. It's impossible to aim. You can't see anything. It's very dark. A poorly, mastered video.
The doors are like 4,000 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is making it all the best game out of all of the like every single one. Like
for the challenge gamer.
Dude, for hardcore gamers only.
I respect that. I mean, like definitely hardcore gamers have to play with the 15 FPS.
Yeah, right. You had to play with the laggiest. Or not the laggiest, but the most skips ever. I mean, I remember playing COD 4 on the DS, and literally, like, half the time, your screen was moving at, like, 1 frame per second. Especially for the higher detailed, like,
advanced for
areas.
That time period.
Exactly, like, what?
All right. Gosh, am I gonna have to go on with that? Yep, that was an interesting pick. I like that, Sam. But I was gonna say, definitely, like, I think overall I fought this hard in my head because Alec, I agree with you in this fact that BO3 is ultimately like just like all the maps are really good up to the fact that like Zetsubo is kind of like the bottom of the best in the sense of that game. But BO2 I think is my pick for best one overall. I feel like it's what really started the zombies like I don't know like fandom, the community, whatever you want to call it. Is like BO1 was the best spawn and then all of a sudden BO2 just improved upon that. With Buried being really good, Origins being one of the most all-time like favorite, most among any zombie community member. What else is on that map? We don't talk about Die Rise.
We don't talk about
please, no.
But like Mob of the Dead was also another one where it was like kind of that perfect mixed. I'll talk more about Mob of the Dead later, but like it just has that mix of both casual and a little bit of like competitiveness to allow you to have that like really fun experience. So like BO2 overall, and I also like grew up with it. So
yeah, BO2 is just like I'll come back to that one. But shout out to BO3, copying the Titanfall mechanics of the wall running and stuff. But of course, a year after Titanfall comes out, they come out with the wall running stuff because BO3 came out in 2015, and then Titanfall 1 came out in 2014. So it's kind of like, Right.
So for my best game, my best zombies or Call of Duty Zombies game would be Black Ops 4 because of the fact that you weren't reliant on Jug and you could only have 4 perks plus extra perks if you had the things for it.
The mods, yeah.
and they had invited elixirs into it, where if you had like a consumable one that you had gotten from outside the game, and it used it all up, it would turn into one of the regular ones instead. So it wouldn't leave you like, oh, I can't use this elixir no more. And I kind of like that because in Black Ops 3 with gobble gums, you could use them up and then it wouldn't turn into anything. I don't think.
Right.
But I could be wrong. I do also think Black Ops 3 was good too, mainly though for the Zombie Chronicles.
Can I pose a question to you? Because you're the only person I feel like, I'm not sure if anyone else disagrees, but in my opinion, BO4 was almost one of the worst. So
I agree.
I
agree with
it's
that.
like, I definitely...
I don't know, I like the challenge of it because you didn't have to rely on Jug, and the Easter eggs were so good that you could do them all solo. With Black Ops 3, Shadows of Evil, you couldn't do that solo. You can only beat the boss, but you can't finish the Easter egg. And for a secret achievement for, I believe it's Revelations, or Revolution, or whatever, the last Aether story from Black Ops 3, you need the initial, key, and all of the rest of the sacrifices in order to get an achievement for that.
I guess I'll kind of pose a question to everyone too, in a sense, kind of like gobblegums compared to the elixirs. Because when you think about that, I thought gobblegums were something that shouldn't have been say taken away compared to the elixirs. Because the elixirs just didn't seem much different compared to them, and they almost seemed like worse gobblegums because they ran out and they were, just a lot of weird stuff.
I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely think that gobblegums is something that should not have been moved away from.
Replacing the elixirs with the gobblegums, I feel like that's what's the worst thing that a lot of us zombie fans were all like, why? Give us our gobblegums back. This is just
absolutely.
Worst version.
Absolutely. I think for me, I'm just gonna go with the OG Black Ops. I mean, not only just the nostalgia, but it had the best zombies mode for over a decade. So, obviously, it's one of the most nostalgic of the series. I mean, you can't forget, afternoons after school, McDonald's in one hand, soda in the other, just vibing and Black Ops Zombies.
You're playing some Kino right after school.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So then that brings me to my next map. My next thing is the best map for casual gameplay. Obviously, mine is Kino, and I will talk about that a little bit in the next one. But I just want everyone to go around and just kind of talk about their idea of the best map for casual gameplay specifically, not just for when you're trying to do Easter eggs, you're trying to complete everything, just for when you want to sit down and just play. Alec, why don't you go ahead?
I have an interesting take on this. Nuketown. It's challenging, but it's also it's simple enough for people to jump into it because in terms of challenge, you can either get Jug on round 5 or you have to wait all the way to round 25 for it to finally come up, and it's really just a really simplified map, but it also gives you the challenge and randomness of when am I going to get this or when am I going to get Pack-a-Punch, and it's really fun.
For my money, back in the day, it's got to be Kino all the way. We just run that after school again.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to back, over and over again.
Absolutely.
That's a great map. Beautiful map.
I just want to pose a question to Alex too about Nuketown because I thought that was a real. I used to watch people the Smith Plays. If anyone knows who that is, YouTuber, always doing Nuketown challenges where it's I feel it's not my pick, but I definitely agree with you on that. Did you ever play a lot of Nuketown, Alec?
I played a lot of Nuketown when I got the season pass for Black Ops 2. It was really fun.
I did too. Yeah, definitely, probably one of my. Next to Kino, probably one of my second most played maps. Obviously, different games.
I didn't play it as often until I started getting into the fact that it was the challenge casual map, where it's this is if you want to actually be an experienced gamer, right? You play you play Nuketown, or you play if you just want a good time, then you play stuff like Town, all those other ones.
Right. The only thing though is I think I played Nuketown more in multiplayer because when they would have Nuketown weekends, I would just pub stomp. And just
count 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. You just destroy everyone because Nuketown's such a it's not an unoriginal map, but it's a simplified map where you can get from one side to the other very quickly. So, and it's the same thing with zombies is that it's incredibly versatile. You can move around really quickly, get in areas where if you're overrun in one area, you can just quickly move to the next spot and you're already across the map, which is really nice.
Nuketown is such an iconic map. So
absolutely.
There's a reason why it's what Vanguard is probably in that map too, or that game.
Yeah.
Just for a map of multiplayer. In
absolutely.
Too.
So quickly, this brings me to another question quickly before we move on to talking about the next person's.
I think I still haven't even said mine, but yeah.
Yeah, which Nuketown was your favorite, guys?
That's a good question.
Was there 3 of them, if I remember correct, or is it 2 of them?
I believe each of the Black Ops had their own Nuketown.
I think every Black
So there's
Ops
4.
has been an iteration of it. I don't know if Vanguard or Cold War has. I'm not sure if anyone
Cold
else.
War did not.
Cold War did not, but I know for the first 4 did.
So then we're comparing all the Black Ops.
So
Okay.
Black Ops 1 through 4. What was your favorite Nuketown?
I'll start it with it. I'm saying Black Ops 2. The amount of sniping on that map.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and tomahawking through the windows.
Oh my god, dude, throwing a tomahawk at the spawn of BO2 was always the first thing.
Yep, absolutely.
That's all I got right there. I don't know.
I wait. Did
Huh?
I think Cold War did have
Cold War
one.
did.
Cold War did have
just
one.
thinking about
Yeah,
that.
Cold War did. Yeah.
Ah, see,
What?
And
Cold War's
I want to say
Nuketown.
it was an
Wait.
iteration of the Black Ops 2 one too. It was modeled mostly off that one.
Black Ops 4 had one where you get to go into the underground bunker, but I don't know.
Black
about
Ops 4's Nuketown did not have a bunker.
yeah, the map did. Like the zombies map had to go underground.
Yeah, the
Keep going
zombies
around.
map did. Yeah, the zombies
Yeah.
map did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just
You're talking about multiplayer.
No, I
thought
was
we
just
were
talking about Nuketown in
zombies.
general.
I
I
was
just
sitting here
no
like,
zombies. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it's kind of zombies.
Because I was like, Cold War didn't have a zombies in town.
No, we were talking about zombies. I don't think at that point. I think we were
No,
talking
no, I
about
think it was
Nuketown.
It
yeah.
makes sense if you say it's multiplayer, because I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
going
was just saying like
a little off
Nuketown
the
in general.
zombies
Yeah, I was
topic,
just
but
saying
still-
Nuketown in general. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought.
I mean, it wasn't going to be on the top of the list anyways, but it was there.
It was there. I want to see if Alec or Sam got a different one.
Our
Yeah.
favorite Nuketown?
Yeah.
Obviously 2025. It's just so many 1v1s were had.
Which one is that
map.
on? Not gonna lie.
Is that Infinite or Advanced?
2025 is Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's Sam's thinking face.
For me, it's got to be. Well, I played Black Ops 1 probably far, far to the advance of any other
Human.
Call of Duty title other than World at War, I guess. But in my money, it's got to be. I'm talking the first Nuketown. I'm talking Black Ops Nuketown.
Yeah. For sure.
It's nothing's more classic than that. And also, I feel like the Black Ops 2 Nuketown. I can't remember exactly what it was, but see, I'm a horrible person to play with on Call of Duty. I camp. Oh, I screen peek. I'm running around with the noob tube. I am the worst person to have in your game, in your presence. And I feel like Black Ops 2 was just like a better, the Nuketown was like, it was too well balanced. It was harder to just be like annoying and horrible. So Black Ops 1, that's gotta be my bread and butter.
Do you do that in multiplayer too?
Oh, yeah.
I would report you for griefing.
I was gonna say you were the one that told little kids what they did to their mom. Like, you were the toxic one that made everybody else become adults because we had to grow up and deal with people like you.
Yeah.
Joe,
I'm sorry, I don't know shade.
Oh my gosh. All right. Anyways, back
We
to
love you,
best
Sam.
map for casual gameplay. Joe, continue.
Casual gameplay. Oh, fun. Gosh, I have to get back on track here. Which is kind of a different take for it. I think I'm gonna say Mob of the Dead.
Okay.
For the perfect balance, kind of what I was explaining before, the fact that it's like it's pretty casual. There's not too much other like the Easter egg can be done, but it's not like it's like a big story that you have to do in a sense of like all the like comparing it to like BO2's like origins and then BO3's Easter eggs, right?
Right.
But it also had a lot of stuff to do, like build the pack-a-punch. You had to collect map parts, so like it gave you stuff to do that wasn't too hard to do in a sense,
Right.
but still gave you that challenge of getting something done and being able to advance farther in the game, and also
Totally.
like Blundergat.
Did you build the pack-a-punch on the bridge? Is that what you had to build the pack-a-punch?
You build the plane, so you
You
build
build
the plane.
to get to the pack-a-punch.
Yep.
That's what it was.
So doing that, and then the afterlife system was kind of just a cool implement. So all that kind of stuff together, it kind of had that perfect mix of casual and challenge. Cause like I would say like Nuketown is like for sure I wanted to compare it to where like that was heavy challenge.
Absolutely.
And, like even though it's still casual, but it's heavier in that challenge. Like you're not gonna survive if you're not good at that game.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
But Mob of the Dead you will.
Yeah. Chase, how about
So
you?
for my best map for casual, I accidentally put a different one on, but back in the day, I used to get on Black Ops 2, and like me and my friends would just play Town, even though
Yeah.
the pack punch machine was over lava, which was the most annoying thing ever.
Right.
It was still the best map to just kite on
Right.
for fun, to see how many levels you can get up. And then when Black Ops 4 came out, I found myself spending a lot of time on the map 9.
Yeah.
Because the Coliseum was cool, and just the fact that the entire middle area, you can kite zombies in a circle indefinitely. And if you have the right perk setup, it makes it 10 times easier to do all the grinding for the weapons stuff.
I liked one of the, I can't remember exactly what it was called, but when you played the Coliseum, it was when they would start floating. What was that called?
The Coliseum
when the zombies would start floating after you kill them. Why can't I think of what this is?
Are you sure that's not an elixir, or is it?
I think it is an elixir, but I can't remember what it's called.
It's Newton's negation. Or
yes.
whatever.
It was a gobble at the end of Zombies Chronicles as well.
Yes. So I think that was the only reason I liked the elixirs, was because they had kept that. That was like the only reason I didn't hate them.
Oh yeah.
Because like if I didn't have that one on, I wasn't playing zombies.
There's also another elixir that just makes them have pool floaties.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
It says it doesn't do much, but
no, I mean, you can put them on, and once they run out, obviously.
That was one of the coolest, especially with like the end of BO3 and with some of the elixirs they did in BO4. Like they implemented a lot of just casual, fun randomness that.
What the elixirs reminded me of was the skulls from Halo. How you could put some just fun skulls on, like extra voice lines, or like then make them, on headshots they would explode in party confetti.
Oh yeah.
Like that's kind of what I liked about him. There was a lot of like big jokes in not jokes, but like tension easing elixirs.
Yeah, more stuff to kind of make it more fun.
Yeah.
I do have a question before you go on. You said kite twice. What's kite?
So kiting is when you backpedal and you shoot the zombies and you make sure they all have to be right behind you.
Yeah.
Because I always say training. Like, okay,
that's what I do too.
Zombies, like,
yeah.
Kiting, training, you can say either way. They're like the same.
So the kiting is just the same as training. Okay.
So you guys also heard kiting before?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard kiting.
I just kind of assumed that's what he was talking about, just because.
Oh, okay.
I kind of figured. I was trying to think of what other context he would be in.
Not tunnel.
Training.
I can't remember the other word now.
Training.
Training is like for me it's a longer word, so kiting just makes it. Or wait, is it? I don't know.
I get you. No worries. I kind of wanted to figure out. Like, I heard that twice, and I was like, okay.
The only reason what I know what kiting and training is because I was a guy during the Easter eggs that would wrap them and just distract them while they were doing the Easter egg. I was like, okay, well, I'm just the distractor.
You were the MVP for anyone's team. Like, I knew the knowledge. I could never find anyone to do training, man.
Dude, that was me. I always but I would make myself a game out of it. I would just play with them.
We need to play more.
I was always the guy on training, dude. I was like, all right, you guys know everything about the Easter egg. I'll just sit here and I'll keep your zombie alive.
Yeah, I mean, I never looked up the Easter eggs because, I mean, all my friends didn't figure them out themselves. They always looked them up, which is kind of lame, which is why I just trained,
a quick thing, because you said gobblegums were, like you guys were saying gobblegums were worse than elixirs. It's basically a give and receive. Like, with elixirs, you can choose what 4 you want and use them whenever you want.
Totally.
With gobblegums, you have to find a machine, use it once for free, and then if you wanted to get another gobblegum, you have to pay $2,500.
And don't you lose the other one?
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't lose the other one if you don't. So if you don't pick up, let's say if you pick one up and then like you replace it without using that first one you had, then you lose it.
Yeah, and you lose it forever. Like.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously you would use it first, but if you don't, that was the thing.
Access in Black Ops 4 with elixirs and all that, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of agree. I mean, I agree to disagree in the sense of like, I don't know. Because like you also had like 5 gobblegums at random, yes, but like there was always a cycle of like, the first 5 are going to come at you like at least randomly, but all 5 in order in some sort. It ain't going to be like the 3 of them the same one,
Right.
But that takes over 5 turns, or 5 rounds.
Which is all for free though.
That's true.
Mostly if you can do 5 rounds, but yeah. Because usually I always like took gobblegums as kind of like this side thing of like, okay, it's not a necessary thing, but the fact that you get it once free per round, it made it so much nicer. And I think there was a lot more choices, I think, with gobblegums, weren't there, at the end? Or at least I didn't play a lot of BO4, so I can't fully like support my claim.
I didn't either, but I think there might have been.
It was a lot harder to get gobblegums than it was elixirs.
No, this is very true, yes.
You get a lot of essence in 4.
Which I think, okay, so like, starting in like, I want to say, when did Black Ops 4 come out? Like what, 2017, 2016? 2017.
Had to be, I think.
Let me look it up, hold on, give me 1 second.
Maybe 17, maybe.
Because if it was 15 for Black Ops 3,
yeah,
BO4,
2018. It came out October 12th, 2018. So
3 years.
Yeah, so that was around the time where they started noobifying games, where they were making it easy because people were complaining about how hard games were because the attention span of the average player decreased very largely.
Oh, wow.
So I think that was at the time when they were making games a lot easier to play because there were a lot more casual players. Like, people were just picking up video games just as something to do rather than, like, actually trying to put in the time, like, because you would really enjoy playing. It was, they were turning it into more of a pastime. So I think that's what the elixirs compared to the gobblegums were. I think they were not, in a sense, newbifying the game, but making the game more casual, in a sense.
I definitely agree to that. It's kind of like, I think ultimately, like, I'm going to kind of steer the topic to the sense of, like, talking about the end of BO3 to this BO4, because I feel like that also was one of the big impacts of why the game was, like, 50-50 taken as, because, like, the end of BO3 with, like, what, Revelations? Like, where were they going to go from that?
Right. It's
like,
just, how are you going to pick up after that?
Especially with, like, that being the end of the most famous characters you've done with BO2, and especially with BO3's, like, storyline. Almost everyone loved it, to an extent.
Yeah, and then BO4 didn't really have a storyline. You could look into the backstory of the agents, but that was pretty much it, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're thinking of Cold War.
Yeah, that's Cold War.
No, Black Ops 4, I don't think had a story mode at all.
There was no campaign.
There was no campaign. Yeah, there
we're
was
talking
like
about Easter eggs in a sense.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
so, like,
okay.
BO3's zombie storyline.
Okay,
that's what I
okay.
should say,
You're talking about those characters, yeah.
BO4's story went from Blood of the Dead to
The zombies, yeah. The zombies had a
Oh, you're
line,
talking
yeah.
about multiplayer.
No, not multiplayer, just the game in general. You just
Yeah, I'm talking about, like, kind of
yeah,
bringing
but if you go back to the Easter eggs and like the following the story of zombies, then
Yeah,
yeah.
so the end of BO3's Revelations, like, that
Right.
was telling us that this was all, like, a whole cycle, and they got sent back in time, in
Right.
a sense. And all of a sudden, then we're starting with BO4 with them, like, breaking that cycle, which wasn't bad, I think, with Blood of the Dead. But
Yeah,
then
because
after
wasn't that the whole
like, it
concept
was
with the
like-
Coliseum was the back in time chase?
They reopened the story to be like, ah, man, we want to keep this going, and then they just ended it again.
Right.
Where we're like, okay, you just basically just put us through, like, a heart attack in a sense. Like,
Yeah,
okay, thanks.
you buried us 6 feet under, pulled us back up, and then drowned us again.
And we were like, we were good. I mean, like, we were done with Revelations. It was at least like mostly
we were at
everyone was kind
peace.
of content with that ending.
Right.
But then BO4's ending came, and everyone was just kind of like,
Huh.
you just killed our characters.
yeah.
I mean, like, okay.
The story was so rushed because I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to extend Black Ops 4's life cycle past like a few years, and they were gonna. It was kind of like the seasons that we have right now for like Warzone, except for just zombies. But because zombies and Black Ops 4 in general was so like poorly received, they kind of just had to rush it, and they kind of ran out of budget at the end. So
Right.
it's just like
Can I
they
give a
tied up
topic
so
to add on to that
quickly.
too? Because you know the Blackout, that game mode that was like
yeah, the old battle royale. Yeah.
Yep. See that? So like that failing is what caused zombies to have no budget. So once their
Well, because
second
they put
DLC
so
came
much
out,
into it, and then
they lost all their money in Blackout, so they had no more money for zombies, and that's why it turned into the comic book cutscenes for the last two.
yeah, and then another thing about Black Ops 4 Zombies, they brought out a lot of weird stuff for it.
They tried a lot of
They
things.
tried a lot of new things that did not work.
Yeah.
But then when they didn't get the hint that these new things weren't working, so they continued to do them.
Basically, that's an easy summary right there. I agree with that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous in my opinion.
Now, are you sure it was because of the budget cuts that's why they did the comics? Because when I played Tagged or Toten, I always assumed the reason they had the comic book style was because Black Ops 2 had that comic book style.
See that? I
Nuketown
agree.
Zombies was in Black Ops 2. It never came back unless it was in Chronicles.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's also like fair to assume because like I when I first saw it, I was like, wait, why is this BO2 again? And then that's when I looked into it and I was like, oh, they had literally no budget left after Blackout.
Yeah, it was
so they
'cause
just
they had
did
to
what they
rush
could, and that's
everything.
cheap
Right.
to do. You just have an artist draw and it's basically done.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, a lot of animations, you see that. I think it was Origins was the only cutscene in BO2.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
actual cutscene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mob
So
of the
then,
Dead
like,
had
yeah, so
actual
BO3 was the
cutscene, too.
cutscene era.
Yes, Mob of the Dead also had a cutscene.
Oh yeah, Mob of the Dead also had a cutscene. But yeah, so cutscenes are a lot of like big budget things, and that's why like BO3 we were spoiled. Like we're like, holy crap, like this is really good to see and everything like that. But
For sure. So moving on to our next kind of topic area is going to be favorite and least favorite map. So I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to go backwards this time. So Chase, why don't you start with we'll do favorite then least favorite. So why don't you start with your favorite?
Because I played it all the time. And every time I get home from school, just get on Black Ops 2. It was Origins or Mob of the Dead.
Okay.
Because Origins had staffs, which was really cool, and the upgrading steps and all that were like hard as nails. But Mob of the Dead was this kind of like Chicago-esque feel to it. Like the guns were different. You had a Tommy gun. Like I don't know. It just felt cool when I was younger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For least favorite map is Die Rise.
Die Rise?
I could not
Evidently.
play that more than once because the wonder weapon in there was so terrible. I'd fall off the map. Regardless with the Tramplestein. The elevators would make me fall off the map. The Easter egg wasn't fun. Getting Who's Who was my worst perk ever. Oh, who made the idea? I'm gonna respawn with a pistol. Round 20. Let me
Sounds about right.
revive here. Huh? It would
Sounds about
suck
right.
when you get that as your free perk. So you'd have to revive yourself, and if you didn't, you'd lose and start over. And this was when I played solo because no one wanted to play with me.
That's fine. Solo was
Who's
just
Who
fun.
on solo gets rid of quick revive immediately.
Mm-hmm.
There's like no point in buying quick revive if you're gonna get Who's Who.
Right.
But yeah.
I'm still trying to think of my worst map because, like, I don't know if I can also disagree with him in the sense for the worst one with Die Rise. I'm trying to think of something else, but like, Die Rise was just bad. I kind of skipped saying my best one because I'm also gonna kind of agree with him here. And Origins and Mob of the Dead are the two, at least my most favorite ones of all time. I mean, Origins kind of going on ice staff. I was always like, all right, who's getting what staff? It was you always prepare in the pre-lobby with your friends. You get in there, and it's always kind of like this perfect balance of like go, 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 but still like.
I wish I had more friends to play zombies with.
I only had the few. I understand it's like maybe, but I did play like we were saying before, like some maps like Buried and stuff like that. Solo, like those games, zombie solo is just as fun almost, depending on what map you play in a sense.
Yeah.
But
I played zombie solo like 75% of the time, and then like 50% of that 75% of the time I hated it. Just because some of those maps are just unplayable solo. Like I'm gonna be talking about one for my least favorite map that is like almost impossible solo. But yes, continue.
okay, yeah. Otherwise, I don't really know much to go on of with the fact that like Origins. I was like, I know I'm trying to see if I can think of a few things that you didn't say.
I mean, like, the worst part about Die Rise is it was actually impactful to Buried because that's where you donate your cash and that's where you store your weapon.
Right.
Oh, but it also yeah. So in Buried, like that's I remember using that system a lot. And like only in Buried because Die Rises was just like it was there, but like who played that map?
The only reason I ever played that map was to give myself money for Buried.
Oh sure. Oh yeah. I think that was probably all of us though.
Yeah.
Sam.
Favorite and least favorite map? That's what we're talking. Well, favorite, I'm still gonna go with Kino because that was
Okay.
my favorite.
Mhm.
Transit, you get left behind. You transit. That's the one.
think of Transit?
Dude, Transit. I had yeah.
The thing is that I was so bad. See, I was saying, I'm the guy with the noob tube. I really is the noob tube. I suck at COD. I'm horrible. So, I'm so bad that anything where I can like, just the team can really be brought down by me by having a bad player. That's a tough map.
I would kind of bring back the Transit because that's kind of funny. Like the fact that I forgot about Transit, but like. I don't know. Like, I wanted to see the question to kind of you guys. Do you think over time, like, Transit's kind of gotten a better, like, let's say, rep even through time? Because that's where like, I couldn't think of Transit because I think the last, like, let's say, I don't know, I'll just put a number like 5 years. I feel like Transit's been like from the most hated and all of a sudden just kind of dwindled down to not being as hated anymore.
Well, with Cold War and Vat, especially, the Cold War Zombies was actually really good.
Yeah.
But especially now that Vanguard is out, I'm sure Transit's not that bad anymore because
that's
Vanguard's Zombies was probably the worst zombies ever.
You've played it?
Very little with friends, like at friends, like going over by friends.
I haven't
But-
even decided to even
No,
look at the shop
dude,
to
it's
even
not.
think
The
about
reason
paying
I
for
played
that
it by friends is because I wanted to play it before I bought it, because I was only gonna buy it for the zombies.
You talking about Vanguard?
Yeah. And so when I was doing this, I there was some gaps that I needed to fill with some of my information, just extra stuff to make sure that I was right. And I was looking at some varying opinions on rankings of COD of zombie games, and on all 5 of the articles I read, Vanguard was at the bottom, the worst zombies game.
It's where
all
you
of
think
them.
about why Microsoft just bought Activision Blizzard with all their stuff going on, and especially I think Vanguard was that final like pinpoint to be like,
You know what?
yeah,
We
Call
need
of
to
Duty's
fix.
screwing up right now. We need to fix some things here.
We need to bring this back to like Modern Warfare. When the remaster of Modern Warfare came out, that was their peak. Like when Warzone was released, that was their peak. That game was amazing.
Modern Warfare was perfect.
It was great. And then after that, it just started going down. Like their last
Cold
two
War
games
kept
were
it okay. I think Cold War
Cold War
stopped
was-
it from
well-
their downfall.
Cold War was a
in terms of
equalizer.
in terms of zombies, yes, but the multiplayer was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So-
one cared for it.
Right, and I was mostly a multiplayer guy because like I competed in challengers in Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare, and then refused to in Cold War. After like I always play them. I mean, I have friends that buy them regardless of how bad they're going to be. Even though they know they're going to be bad. So I would just go buy those people and play them before I buy them.
That's
I'm like,
smart.
okay, well I'm going to transition to a new game now because this is not good. But in terms of zombies, I do really like the Black Ops, the Cold War zombies. That one wasn't too bad. I still didn't buy it because I'm not just gonna buy it for the zombies.
And that's yeah, I
unless the
was able
zombies
to
was
with that.
perfect. Like if it was Black Ops, like if Cold War came out to like Black Ops 3 level zombies, I would have bought it.
DOC 2 is where I stopped with Cold War.
Okay,
Then
that's fair.
I stopped playing it because I couldn't. Chase, you had something.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, yeah, so like on the topic of transit, I know like we haven't gotten to Alex yet, but the one thing that I think was really cool about transit altogether would have been the fact that it was a huge map.
It was.
The reason you couldn't go out was because they had these facehuggers, which weren't explained ever, but they would grapple you, and then you'd have to knife in order to get them off.
Do you know how many
And then
times you got grappled off of transit?
And you could get the Galva Knuckle on transit.
Yeah.
And then you could go, done. Get off my face.
Right.
But like, you can find areas in the map, like there's Nocturne Totem on transit.
That was cool. Those small Easter eggs.
No, but there was a glitch on transit where you'd get grappled by the facehugger and it would pull you through the bottom of the map.
I've never saw that, but that definitely seems possible.
I only ever had issues with zombies on Xbox though. I never had issues on Wii or PlayStation. Only on Xbox.
Xbox 360 Origins was the worst.
It was
You'd lose
awful, dude.
You'd go down and you lose your staff.
Dude, it was awful.
The 360 era, so like BO2 era of like zombies, especially on the Xbox, was just bad.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still a good game, but like,
Oh, yeah.
I bought it for PS3 because I was hating it on Xbox.
Dude, I told you guys it's my favorite, and I played it on 360. So like, even though I
Yeah.
suffered, like
It was just that good. It was just that good of a game. Okay, Alec, go for it because we've.
So, I will say for like in terms of transit, the only reason why they put in the denizens, which is the facehuggers and the lava, was to slow you down. It was because of memory. If you went too fast, the game would have crashed. That's how big transit
No,
was.
yeah, absolutely.
And that's the fog too.
Mhm.
Because
oh, yeah, I remember that. It was too like advanced for its time, so they had to keep the fog on there.
Yeah, there was this theater glitch in Black Ops 2 where if you got rid of the fog and you went too fast in transit, your game crashed.
Yeah, no, it did. It happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. As soon as you just said denizens and all of a sudden going into the fact of the fog, I remembered like, oh yeah, like that was a reason they had to do that.
Yeah, it was just the hardware was just not enough at the time. It was just transit was just too ambitious.
Yeah, but then the things they added in to slow you down also had some glitches in it too, which wasn't fun.
Outbreak for Cold War was inspired by transit, maybe.
Absolutely.
Because it's got that open world feel, and there's zombies everywhere, and there's objectives too in those outbreaks.
Absolutely. So favorite and least favorite map, Alec?
In terms of like favorite, it's gonna change by day. I mean, there's just so many good zombies.
Absolutely,
maps.
yeah.
Like I could say like Kino for one day, and then be like, oh no wait, Mob of the Dead, then Origins. Then I could say like even Buried, even though Buried's pretty easy. But I think in terms of like I'll never play ever again. Definitely Vanguard Zombies. Awful
Terrible.
experience.
0 out of 10.
I think
Not funny. Didn't laugh.
Just
If I didn't play it, that's why it's not on my list. Kind of, I was like, damn. If I played Vanguard, I'd agree.
no round-based zombies. What? Like that has been your staple for the past how many years, and you're just gonna get rid of it like that?
Right.
Like
I didn't
Why?
even know
What,
they
Black
got rid
Ops
of the
1
round
came out
base.
in like 2003. But I like it. It's
2003.
2003.
And that's when Call of Duty.
So Alec too. Oh wait. So Alex, you're talking about round base. So I didn't even know much about
2010,
Vanguard. You're telling me they got rid of the round base system?
Yes, in
Yes.
Vanguard they got rid of the round-based systems.
So each round is basically started by doing the objective.
They made it. They changed.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking of was COD 1.
They changed up
Yeah.
the entire perspective. They made it more like based on the story being prominent rather than the what?
So you know how Outbreak you have to do the objective and then you can either exfil or go to the next area?
Yeah, I remember. Outbreak was
That-
perfect mix of
That
like.
is what they did to Vanguard. That is the zombie.
Yeah.
So they went from zombies to Outbreak, which was nice, but then they took the Outbreak and went even farther, and they took it like basically away from they went
Yeah.
farther away from the core zombies experience.
Depending on also what you roll from the box, depending on the quality of it, you can be pack-a-punched For 950. You
Yeah, we're okay with, I don't know, Vanguard taking a tank.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So for me, my favorite is gonna be Kino. For me, like sometimes less is more.
Okay.
So Noctur Untoten, it's like bare bones. It's like nothing. It's like and then and then there's like a map like D Machine, which is too much. So it has too many like there's a lot of features to keep track of. There's a lot of different things, and then Kino strikes like a balance of like both of those. And also Cinema is like one of the most iconic like settings in all of the franchise, which is awesome. And its level design makes it incredibly accessible. And then obviously like the little things like turning on the power, going through the curtains, which is all just
I can tell you're
cool
reading
stuff.
off your script and I love it though for this fact that you have
No,
like
because I had these like specific details because I had too many things to talk about because I played the map too many times. So I could talk about this, I could talk about this, I could talk about this, I could talk about this. So like I had to pick certain things that I wanted to talk about exactly.
When we started reading it, I heard you say like accessibility, and I'm like, you did not have that in your head right now. Like, that
no, there were certain things that I had to premeditate here, and then for like Varus, it's just too big of a map. That's my least favorite. I think it was kind of fun at the same time because it was one of the scariest maps in my opinion.
So Varuk was the one that had, was it the?
It was the Asylum.
Yes,
Thank you.
the zombie asylum one, yeah.
Confused with the other World at War map, but I think Shino I was.
Yeah, I think the reason why Transit, because it was like the most hated map. That was not a controversial opinion, but I think that over time we remember the things that we remember about the games end up being good, even if they were good or bad. Because even just remembering, oh, that map. You remember it so well because you hated it, but just remembering the map makes you feel nostalgic about
Absolutely.
the old days.
And just with Varuk, it's just hard to follow the overall flow of the map. It was just confusing for me.
Oh yeah.
And then it's almost impossible to play solo. That was the other thing.
Varuk or Kino?
Varuk.
Okay, just making sure.
That's why it was my least favorite, because I played zombies solo mostly, and it was almost impossible to play solo.
There wasn't much fun to it, even probably to play solo. I was gonna say like I never played it too much solo, and I just because I never had like any reasoning. And there was more maps to choose from. I'd play Kino.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to
No, go for it.
pause it for a sec. But one of the interesting things is no one talks about Moon. Moon sets off Black Ops 2.
Right.
And it's an interesting map because you have no gravity, like low gravity and stuff, and one of the astronauts can be your friends list, like someone from your friends list.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Moon was such a good map. I feel like I'm surprised none of us have brought it up. That when I hear a lot of other zombie people, they'll consider Moon being like above like all these other maps we've talked about.
I think
to this day.
Mostly because it's not talked about, it's just a mutually respected map.
Yeah.
Like everyone, it's one of those things that it's just like, everyone knows that that's a good map.
Yeah. There's nothing bad. There's nothing like basically bad to say about it in the sense that like nothing. There wasn't like glitches in the game. The Easter egg could have had a challenge, but you're gonna say the Easter egg or the game is bad because it's challenging. Not at least in that perspective. But like, yeah. That's Moon's pretty good. I don't know what else to say about that one, but we were talking about Varuk, and you said Kino.
Yes, Kino was my favorite, and then Varuk was my least favorite.
Okay, I was just saying, because I agree with you in the Kino aspect that like I definitely like any map. I booted up BO3 right now for a casual experience. It's Kino. Yeah, like easy. I don't know.
That's fun that you just booted up Black Ops 3 because I was actually gonna start doing that over the summer and play zombies.
It was almost one of the also I think it's been the most like at least accepted reused map because it's been the little stage it was used in Revelations. Then they also used it. They used that in in Revelations. Where else was it used? I thought like one more map other than Kino.
Which one?
The stage or part of Kino was used in a map creation, or am I wrong? I could be definitely wrong.
I'm not sure.
I think you might be. I don't remember Kino ever coming back. Besides Zombie Chronicles.
Yeah, because it came back. Oh wait, yeah. What am I saying? So it came back as its remastered form in Chronicles.
Yeah.
And it also was used as Revelation.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to think of. But like, they didn't even change almost anything other than the graphics in the Chronicles, and that was like perfect. Yeah, added the Gobblegum machines, and like nowadays, that's my like classic 2-box challenge.
Absolutely.
Or starting room challenge. It's gonna be Kino.
Yeah,
In fact,
all the way.
Zombie Chronicles, you can get Widow's Wine now. And
Oh, I love it. Widow's Wine was also such a good perk.
It was, yeah.
No, we go into that. We start talking about perks. We'll be here for another half hour. I mean,
Yeah, right. No kidding. So the next kind of topic area is going to be your best major and minor EEs. So talk about like songs, upgrades, jump scares, that kind of stuff. I don't have a lot for this one, so I'm gonna let you guys mostly controls. But if I remember something, I'm definitely gonna bring it in. So just go for it.
So much we could talk about.
Start us off then.
In my I liked the Chaos storyline in Black Ops 4. I know that a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked that it was trying to be different because we always had Tank Dempsey, Nikolai, Takeo, and Richtofen, but like this Chaos story was building its own story based on like ancient or like historical events. Like for instance, the first one was the Titanic. Then there was also I think it was Dead of Night, which was a clue-based one with werewolves and vampires in it, which I think I like that a lot.
It was pretty cool,
It was that old-fashioned feel. And then you have like a Colosseum as well, ancient like oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this wrong, like Spartan.
Rome.
Or is it Greek?
It's Rome.
Rome.
So it's Roman,
Rome,
yeah.
So yeah.
And then you got this like, is it Roman or Greek Empire? Like Ancient Evils was about Greek gods and with the zombies and stuff. And I'm not gonna spoil the ending of the Easter egg because it's a pretty good Easter egg.
It is really good.
Is there a certain like, let's say, map out of those ones you'd probably say is your favorite Easter egg? Because I think it's kind of like to pin it down to one of those maps.
Voyage of Despair had one of my favorite songs from it, which was Drowning, which was it's a really good song.
That's definitely one good minor Easter egg on that one.
The boss fight was kind of like, if you had the RPG PhD combo for any of the Easter eggs, you were pretty much set. Because I just shoot the ground if there were zombies nearby. But Ancient Evils was really interesting with the gauntlets or whatever, having the different like god powers.
Right.
It was really interesting. Like all of it to me was really interesting, and I couldn't get enough of it.
No, absolutely.
And it's
See,
not
it'd be
going to
fun if we
continue.
could have like what's the an unprofessional debate between you and me on this, because like BO4 is my most hated. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I agree with you, but when you compare it to the rest of them,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's not Vanguard.
Like a hit or miss
You're
with
wrong.
them. There's a lot of hit or miss. I can't say BO4 is perfect, but I gotta say that, in my opinion, it's the most unique on what Easter eggs you can do. Because I used to be like the guy who'd get home and it'd be like, all right, I'm going to solo the Origins Easter egg. And there's a part that literally you need to have the middle giant have his foot on the left side, shoot the foot, throw a German airstrike into a hole, and then go into his foot and push a button.
You tell me that's not your most fun. You're about to. What was I'm debating here? Because my favorite one's gonna be Origins.
No, I'm saying it's the most fun, but it's the hardest to solo.
We're just having a debate in here. You guys can win this.
It was the first time I was like, you can solo an Easter egg? I'm gonna try to do this, and I would literally every day try to do it.
Yeah, I'll just turn off the bowl and have you guys talk amongst yourselves.
And when Black Ops 4
So
came
you guys
out,
have your conversation. No I'm kidding.
when Black Ops 4 came out, it was the first time I'd actually felt successful in my mission to finish Easter eggs solo.
Okay, I get that.
Because my friends weren't gonna ever get on to play them,
And-
so I was like, I guess I gotta do this.
And
solo.
that brings back to what I was talking about earlier with, like, I'm not discrediting you saying that your skill wasn't high enough that, once they made the games easier, but I think because so many people were complaining, like, I don't have anybody to play that, I don't have anybody to play that, they made them easier to solo, for sure.
Blood of the Dead was one of the hardest solo ones.
Absolutely.
Mainly because of the Morse code and the boss fight was kind of it was kind of hard. It wasn't dumb, but it was
daunting.
It was daunting. It was the longest Easter egg.
Yeah.
Because I think just to kind of save time, I'll kind of transition if you're okay with that.
That's fine.
Because I'll kind of transition into like two different things of the fact that like I would say kind of going into Blood of the Dead. If we were just talking about like story-wise and maybe not the gameplay itself, I thought Blood of the Dead was such a like, I don't know, watching Richtofen die was very sad for me, being like a big Zombies fan, watching all these characters progress, and then Richtofen just basically, I think his last line was like, "Don't leave me here," like something really sad.
It was like, you need me to continue. This is supposed to be my story.
This was for me. Like, this was supposed to be like something, and you just kind of hear his voice, his tone. Like you never see Richtofen be sad, and to hear him like go into this sadness it was like, whoa,
His
like,
last
damn, he's
words-
actually dying here.
I gotta admit that was
His last words were, "You won't even remember me."
Yeah,
he
that was
won't-
it.
Dude,
Ugh.
it hurt. It makes you just feel goosebumps in the way of like sadness. Like, damn,
Right.
like, really, like he's always basically been able to like avert his death, and then he couldn't save himself in that moment. But to go on, just to say my favorite, I think, major story was Origins. You basically were explaining it with how you were discrediting it, but being
I
able
wasn't
to,
discrediting
oh yeah,
it. It's harder to do, but it's like I've done it so much that it's basically muscle memory that I go, okay, I grab this stone near the blue disc. I grab the blue disc. I go over, put the stone in the bird bath, and then I leave it there until I can
Yeah.
do the fists.
we'll go. Yeah, I get you. I won't go into details to save us some time too, because I'll just go right into my yeah. So Origins is my favorite story. Just ultimately, it's the first cutscene, but my minor one is what you're gonna like, I think, Ben. It's gonna be the song on Kino. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Every one
yeah.
of those stones, as soon as it activates, the Kino
115?
and it was 115. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Kino, and then what's the other? The remaster of the remaster on BO3. Darius. It's not Darius, but
The giant.
thank you. The Giants remastered
Giant.
song too was also really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my minor Easter eggs. I love songs.
Blood of the Dead's Easter egg song was the same song, but it was extended and a lot better done.
Yeah. I'll go with Sam so we can keep going.
I'll pass this right on to Ryan.
Ryan.
Alec?
Alec, yeah.
Ryan.
See, are we?
Ryan's not Ryan isn't to your right side
Ryan's
anymore.
better, yeah. used to passing it on there.
In terms of major Easter egg, I'm gonna have to go with Moon. You blow up the Earth at the end. How can you top that?
Fair.
Oh, you got me thinking about the Rise and Drac now, because that's also really cool.
Oh, because you blew up the moon at the end.
Yes.
Minor, I'm gonna have to say this is gonna be in connection with Moon too, and it's gonna be the Nuketown Easter egg, where after round 25 the zombie eyes turn blue because Richtofen took control of them on Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're happening at the same time.
Oh,
I forgot about that too. Yeah, that's a
So
really
did I.
cool thing that shows you that they paid attention to detail.
right.
They quote that in Blood of the Dead too, where he goes, Richtofen goes, "Are your eyes supposed to be that color? I can never keep track."
That was a cool. Like all the small details of the story is what made I think zombies cool up until like I think BO4 when things changed. But-
Because it was like the red ones were Mob of the Dead and Blood of the Dead, where Warden was in control of the zombies. Yellow for Samantha and blue for Richtofen.
And orange for Maxis if you completed his side of the
yeah.
Easter eggs. And
I didn't even. I
Black Ops
forgot
2.
about orange.
That's because you'd have to side with Richtofen on every map leading into Buried, I think.
I'm not sure on that one, but yeah.
I'm not sure.
I just know that like, the cool. It was really cool the fact that you could like all of a sudden I think it was at BO3 where you start realizing like oh yeah like the eyes actually mean something.
Right.
I would say did you? We already go through your?
I didn't really have it. I didn't play zombies all that much, and then when it came to the Easter eggs, I was the trainer that like.
Hey, you were the most MVP in my eyes. It's like, I'm one who did all the BO3 Easter eggs. I spawned with the RK5, and the problem was trying to have somebody like you training was always like, no one wants to do that job. At least a lot of people didn't want to.
I found fun in it. I just made fun of them. Just like,
Good.
oh, you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me. Oh,
Starts
yeah.
crawling
Oh, you
with
almost
him.
got me. Yeah, right. Exactly.
You'd
Yeah.
have to have them hit you in order to not despawn and start the next round.
Right. Yep.
That's like yeah. I always if I did the crawling thing or I had to train people, I would always mess with like the last zombie. It would crawl and be like, oh, it's gonna get me, guys. You better hurry up.
I think my favorite maps have shields in them, and because like a lot of the times you get pinned into a corner, and like there's no way out. And sometimes if you shoot enough heads or you get the right jumps in, you can get past them. But I like the fact that if you have the shield, you can just bash them out of the way and just move on.
Mm-hmm.
It saved you one extra down.
A shield was a necessity, I think. Once you got into the end of like BO2 and most of BO3, like a shield became a necessity for like
Right.
a lot of those maps.
Yeah. Of course.
Because after like what round 10, I'm kind of going off topic from our stuff, but we got some time here anyway. Like, but like shields were, especially I think like trying to think of some map that like when you don't have a shield you notice. Like BO2, if I go back and play BO2 right now, you have to really like let's say buried, or there's no shield on buried, correct?
Yeah, there's no shield.
Thank you.
There's
I
no
was gonna make
shield,
sure that would have been a stupid comment. But playing buried, all of a sudden you're like getting smacked from behind. You really have to be like, oh crap, I gotta move out of the way. Like this is about to happen.
Everybody move. No, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't really have one. I mean, in terms of songs, I really liked a lot of the title screen and lobby music for the zombies.
So you like the BO3s of just the campfire sizzling and then
Yeah.
the zombies? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun. I mean, I sat in the lobbies a lot just because
BO2.
waiting for people and then
One of the
for people to not
coolest
come.
things that was in 3 and 4 was you could have the music from the Easter eggs. Like
Yeah.
in 4, if
You get to pick your pack,
It
yeah.
was in Cold War too. If you got the Easter egg in Cold War, you'd have the song on your playlist,
Mm-hmm.
and you could just listen to it on repeat or like on a shuffle of them.
I feel like Chase, you used to listen to the Easter egg music when you cleaned your room.
No. Listen, I might have every time I played Black Ops 4 or any of the maps, literally gone for Easter egg songs first.
Okay, Ben, or even everyone too, right? Can you guys, like, when you brought up music of, like, lobby music, all I hear in my head is the BO2, like, you know, like,
Yeah, that's
the
exactly what I
melodic
think
thing
of, yeah.
that's, like a pretty good beat or pace, and, like, yeah. BO2's lobby music,
You
got it. dude,
Yeah, it was good.
that was always, like, I would leave that on, and that was perfect background music.
I knew a buddy in high school who could play that on the piano.
We're gonna go meet him. Like, I need to hear this now live. Like,
Oh
it has
my
to
gosh.
happen.
Oh my gosh, I haven't talked to him in years.
Yeah, out of the blue, you're just gonna text him, yo.
Like,
so,
yo,
like,
can
I
you
have
send me a
friend.
video
I have a
of
group
you
of friends that
playing
need
this
you
on
to
the
play
piano?
this.
Yeah, right. I have some friends who want you video of you playing this on the piano.
Like now, this is not me asking you. This is me demanding this in the next.
This is mean
24
like you.
hours.
Yeah, you have 24 hours to get this to me.
Oh man, that was like so. That's I agree with that. BO3 didn't have lobby music though. That's kind of like when you brought BO3 up too.
I did have. It had wait.
I was gonna say it was
No,
just
not
the
really.
campfire.
It was
area.
mostly just the campfire and then the occasional zombie sounds.
It was just a campfire. That's
Yeah.
It was white noise in a sense. Like there was
Yeah.
at least still something going on, and you'd hear the like wood move over. You'd hear something.
There's a zombie like walking in the background.
Did they even have like lobby music in BO4? Like, not gonna lie, I don't remember it.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yeah.
It was their opera. I think it was more operatic or whatever. It was.
It was like creepy opera.
Yeah, it was.
Which fit? Oh yeah, I think I kind of remember
It was for the chaos stories, like kind of feel. It was to like push you
Yeah.
into that kind of feeling.
It was to set the creepy mood.
Yeah,
I mean, which is what they were all for technically, but
they were really pushing that chaos story too for it to like ultimately, all due respect, failed.
Oh.
I know you love it.
of chaos.
I remember like how many people that just did not like the chaos story, and we're all kind of like whatever about it.
Right.
All I want to know is what happens after the chaos story.
We'll never know.
Do you want to kind of leave this last 10 minutes for the last one?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about our last life. Your favorite wonder weapon of all time. I'm gonna start with this one because mine might be a little weird.
I'm
It's
ready.
gonna be the storm bow.
Storm.
That's not controversial.
That's not controversial, but like,
I feel like it's kind of general though.
Wait,
I mean, it's easier to craft than the ice staff,
That's
and
true.
it's more overpowered. I mean,
I
think
have
about
a
it.
dumb question. Is storm bow also lightning bow? Like, because I've also heard it. I'm looking at Alec
It's
too.
lightning bow.
Yes, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people called it lightning bow. So when you said storm, I was like, wait, I think that's the lightning bow.
I mean, it's
it's
been called
basically the
both.
same
Yeah.
thing. That's what I thought.
Wasn't the wolf bow easier though? I kind of remember always being able.
I mean, in terms of like overpowered, like
The wolf bow
you'd
was the
go
most
with the
one you want
you'd
to
go
use
with
with
the
Wasn't
lightning
the
bow.
lightning bow the one that needed the crawlers and you knife them on the?
No, that's the shadow
No,
bow.
that's the shadow bow. Yeah.
Shadow bow? Who calls it shadow?
Well, it's the
void
shadow
bow,
void
sir.
bow, but it's the
No,
worst
void
bow.
bow.
I mean, some of us just say the full names, Joe.
Hey, that's a shorter name. V-O-I-D, void. I'm looking at Alec when
Oh,
he said
you want
shadow.
me to call it by its official name? Then we're gonna have to go to the Apothicon language real quick.
Oh, boy. Oh, here we go.
Bow, yeah.
just that jumble of letters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my. Oh, I'm so sorry. Ben's right. It's a little bow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and when you combine it with the alchemical, I always trip this up. I wrote this down because the alchemical antithesis,
You
So
still love
good.
it. You're good.
gobblegum, and then the high rounds just are automatic, which is just
Yeah, you can. Like,
you just destroy. You know anything that's in your way, you just destroy.
Boss keeper. Burr.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it just works. It just works.
I just heard Chase say something to me about beating that boss fight. Dude, I understand.
I've gotten to that boss fight one time with my friends, and then one of them was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." Like, we tell him like, "All right, you put your shock things down, and then we'll wait, and then when yours is done, we'll put our Ragnarok DGs."
So
down.
who here has played D2 to Destiny 2?
Enough.
I feel like some of the zombie boss fights are like raids, like
they
raid
feel
boss
like
fights,
raids in
because you have to do certain things, like in order to like I'm not necessarily do damage, but like
There's
in order
phases
to
to it?
like phases exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like now that I'm thinking about it, because I remember raids in Destiny 1. And then while doing Black Ops was like, wow, this is very similar. It's kind of a similar time commitment. So that was kind of a tangent.
definitely
But
agree.
Might be why people enjoy BO3 more, because
Yeah.
it feels like Destiny 2.
yeah, absolutely.
Because the bosses there's always a boss fight, and they're never like the easiest thing. There's a waiting phase, and then there's a damage.
And there's always a build up to the boss fight.
yeah.
I'll
Like
even
you meet
compare
the
it.
boss, but then you have to continue to build up to it.
I wasn't even gonna compare it to like the satisfaction of like Dark Souls or Elden Ring right now.
Yeah.
When you beat that keeper in the end, you're like, holy crap! Like I did that. That took a lot.
Now what do I do?
You're like, now what do I do? Just watch Dempsey basically kill himself?
Yeah, pretty
Right?
much.
He doesn't even,
Yeah, that's what he does.
he just turns off the machine and it's like, yep, you can go sleep now.
All right, Alec. Favorite wonder weapon?
Apothecary Servant.
Okay.
Even though like on Shadows of Evil it's like a pain to build because sometimes you have to wait for that xenomatter to come from the meatballs or the flying bugs. I got on Revelations you just have to get out of the box, just get lucky, and I managed to get I think like around 107 by getting the Apothecary Servant, upgrading it, getting the Thunder Gun, upgrading that, getting Alchemical Antithesis, and just camping for 5 hours just in a corner.
You can get the Thunder Gun in Shadows of Evil?
Yes.
It's not. Are you
Not
talking
Shadows
about
of Evil,
Revelations?
I think he's talking about Revelations.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say Revelations.
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
I heard Shadows of Evil.
Yeah.
So.
You can't do
I
that.
mentioned
in,
Shadows of Evil because it's
Oh,
a
no.
pain to get
Yeah, it's just the
there.
Apothecary in Shadows. No Thunder Gun in Shadows, though. You're just like, what? Yeah, fight me. I'm actually wrong. No, I'm kidding. Over the counter.
Sam?
Well, see, I was really, really bad at, Call of Duty Zombies. So I don't even have a favorite. I'd get whatever. I would ask someone, like, how do I get this?
Just say the
And then-
scavenger and watch us all be like, what?
Yeah, they
Save
have,
your 11.
So I've never had to do this, but can you drop the wonder weapon?
You can try. You
like
can
pass
change
them to
it
other
out.
people?
Weapon?
There's like in certain maps,
Cold
there's
War.
like I think in Revelations, like in the Nocturne and Totem area, you can like set down a weapon on the table, and you can
Okay.
like,
Yeah,
have
so you
other
can do the
people grab
table
it.
in the knocked area of Revelation.
Yeah, because I never played with people enough to know if you could swap or not, because I never had to try.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
there's
so I
Wasn't the
figured it out.
swapping thing? I think that was a die rise thing. Now that I'm thinking about
There
it.
was the locker you could have and buried
You
or
can't
die
put
There was a
weapons
right.
in the
but then there
locker.
was also, I thought there was also a table.
Yeah, but with the locker, weren't you the only one who could use the locker, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was your own personal locker. So
Yeah.
the only way you could exchange things was like what he was saying in
The table,
Revelations.
yeah.
Or so Cold War, you could also drop
In
weapons.
Moon.
Oh yeah, it was
Also
just
at Moon.
Revelations.
Oh, and
If you have
okay.
the hacker and you hack the weapon you get out of the mystery box, people
Oh,
can
the
grab
Moon.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot what Moon too.
All right,
Are we
Joe.
going to me now?
Yeah, we're going to you,
I had
man.
to think about it for a minute. So since I already can see his list, I know what I'm gonna pick based off of that. Because I'm gonna do something different.
That's okay.
I'm surprised none of us else started the Mark II. The
Okay.
ray gun, like, obviously the ray gun itself, I think had its own kind of weird up and down cycle. Like the original ray gun being really good, I think up until like end of BO2 where it started falling off.
Right.
But then like
They
you got
had their
the ray gun
moments
Mark
where they
II
like,
then. What?
like they did. It was the nerf buff thing.
Yeah, the ray gun was always being nerf buffed throughout the last couple years of zombies, but like the Mark II was only in I think BO2, and then it came back in BO3's. Was it the which DLC? I don't remember which
Chronicles.
one. Was it just Chronicles?
It came out in Chronicles, yeah.
I had to.
Oh yeah, the Mark III was in.
Go out, Kirby.
Thank you. I would have said Dempsey's map, or not Dempsey's, Nikolai's map. But yeah, Mark II. All of a sudden, I remember all the time just being the buried combo of getting like an LMG in the Mark II. It's always gonna be something like that, or
Not
getting
the
the Paralyzer
Paralyzer?
Mark II. Like, Mark II was just the most, I guess, versatile. It just upgraded the ray gun, made it better, and it was still like you like had a pistol in your hand, so you could run with it, and it was.
Yeah, you had the increased speed of having a pistol, which was nice.
Yeah, and it was basically an AR in a sense.
Yeah.
3-round burst AR.
Yep.
I have to agree as well with the ray gun Mark II, which was when I always played Black Ops 2, it was one of my favorite for Barry. Just
Same.
having a ray gun Mark II, 3-round burst and just kill more than one zombie and without dealing damage to you. What was the best part? Because the ray gun did AOE damage, and you'd need PhD in order to not kill yourself with it. But my favorite out of all the wonder weapons has to be the thunder gun because it's just it's my OG. If I want to get 50 points per kill, I might as well be flinging zombies off the map in the best ragdoll physics ever with my favorite gun.
Absolutely.
I was gonna agree with the fact that like those two combined. I think like the things of the thunder gun and the apothecon, it's like the most thing you want out of a wonder weapon is get your butt out of my way like gun. Like this is the thing I shoot this gun and there should be no zombies in front of me. Like that's what a wonder weapon kind of defines as in a sense.
The saddest part about it is the lack of ammo.
Yeah.
Like I think 10 without pack punching it.
For that safety comes with almost no ammo.
Alrighty, but that's pretty much all we had today. So thanks for anybody who's listening, and have a great afternoon.
Is it 4? Oh, all right.
Yeah, it is that time already.